Hey guys, welcome to the Bent Wheels Hare Scramble, round 3 of the D14 AMA Hare Scrambles races in Rose City, Michigan. We got 10 seconds to go here. Not my best start of the season, but got it on the first kick as usual with this bike, so at least it's consistent there. So we got Pony Down in front of me there, well, one bike ahead of me. Yeah, Jeff got a killer start this race. Went into that first corner in fourth and ended up, I think, getting up to around second before he before he had his crash. Yeah, so what we're gonna do here, this is just the first little bit of the first lap. I had a pretty crazy fall, you know, running up front, and so we're just gonna go to that point, and then we'll just throw in the crash highlight reel because I know you guys love the crashes. So luckily today there wasn't really too many of them. I think there was 3 or 4. The one in this first lap here was definitely the craziest one, so I figured you guys can just watch it all the way. But yeah, and then after the crash highlights, we'll go to the full lap of lap 2, which was my fastest lap. Not that there was a huge difference today in my lap times. Looking back, I did 8 laps today. They said it was a 5.5 mile track, so you know, roughly 48 miles. So yeah, it was a good race. I was feeling good, and between all 8 laps, I think there was only roughly 30 seconds in all my lap times, including this first lap with the little bit of carnage that you see randomly scattered throughout. Before I get too far into this video, I want to give a little shout out to my little cousin Jake. He just started watching my videos, and we were camping over Memorial Day weekend, and he said, "Hey, can you give me a shout out on your next video?" So there you go, Jake. Thanks for watching. So yeah, as you can see, the track is pretty dusty, and I know that leading up to the race, you know, there had been quite a bit of rain up in this area, but I don't think that they had gotten anything since roughly Wednesday. I was watching the weather pretty close, and we had heard that, you know, if they'd gotten any more rain, it probably was going to be a total nightmare, just like it was last year. If you remember, last year it rained the whole morning of the race, stopped just long enough for us to get our race in, and then it started pouring again when the quads took off. And yeah, the dirt here it's basically all clay, so when it rains, it just gets super, super slick. So thanks to Jeff, you know, half of us blew that corner. Now we got Dave Whip right in front of me.
Oh shit, dude.
Almost ran into him. There was Jeff on the ground. So I don't know where I am right now. I want to say right now I'm roughly 4th. Hard to tell because the footage on the camera, you know, I can't really see the numbers on people's helmets, and we caught up to the row 11 guys and the row 10 guys pretty quick. You know, the tail enders of them. So there's Dougie Z sticking his front wheel in there. But yeah, we caught up to those guys really fast. So, you know, basically right from the very beginning, we were mixed in with all different riders from all kinds of different groups, and so it was really hard this first lap to figure out who was who. But yeah, basically, you know, just sitting back. This track, it was a short track, like I said, 5.5 miles, and you know, I knew being only 5.5 miles, it was going to get whooped out pretty bad, and it did. But the nice thing was it wasn't too tight, really anywhere. So the track flowed pretty well. You know, there was some tight switchbacks and stuff, but you know, for the most part.
Dude. Let him pass.
I think he was a row 10 guy. But yeah, where was I? The track was really flowed well, and so it was a lot of fun. Like even though it got really rough and choppy, overall I'd say the track held together really well. We'll hold off on talking too much about the track until we're going through the second lap here. But yeah, so you know, like I said, leading up to this race, you know, there was a chance of rain and all that. The rain held off for this race. It started to do I'd say a steady light sprinkle right towards the end of the race, and that was totally fine. You know, like I said, you can see with the dust and stuff that a little bit of moisture wasn't going to hurt, but too much rain and it would have been nasty. The quads ran after us just like they did last year. They're right there. There's a big boulder right in the middle of the track there. And every time I came out of that corner, it threw me right at it. And just that first lap, I just caught the outside edge of it, and it threw me into the air and whatever. So this is the crash reel. I was just kidding around. I evidently was just blowing over the tops of the turns and just hitting the soft stuff and sliding out. I kept feeling like the front tire was going flat and I didn't know what was happening. There, I was just trying to change my line and couldn't get slowed down enough to not hit him. Oh yeah. This was the swamp hole. So for bent wheels, yeah, that really wasn't too bad. But really nothing even happened. Just got kind of crossed up in a rut and fell over, and the bike stalled. And yeah, it takes me longer than I would have liked to have gotten it started again. But yeah, I ended up I basically ran the same position all day. By the time I got through the first lap, I was in, I want to say, 7th place. Let me look it up here real quick. I don't know. I ended up finishing 8th out of, who knows? Maybe there was 35 riders. Hold on just a second. Okay, so it looks like there was 30 of us, and first lap I was 9th, 7th, 10th, 9th, 8th, 8th. So basically I ended up running 8th, right around 8th place the whole day. So right there, I had fallen again right there, right after I had gotten the bike stalled in that mud pit, so I was pretty winded. But right here, Dougie had gotten around me on the first lap, and he knew I was there. I don't think he knew that I was that close. Almost ran me into that tree, but I don't know. I was feeling this race today. I was feeling good on the bike, and so I was trying to make some moves and catch up a little bit. But yeah, like I was saying, with the weather the way that it was, the rain that they had gotten earlier in the week, you know, the track was really in pretty prime condition considering. It held together really well. You know, all these turns ended up forming really nice banks to them. I mean, you could hold some good speed through the woods. You know, there's a lot of guys that are saying it was too short, and well, I mean, it is what it is. I know that there were certain areas of the track that we hit last year that were absolute swamps that, you know, they cut out. So, you know, all things considered, I think the track was really good. And like I said, it held together pretty well. Some of the whoops definitely got really, really bad. My camera died right at the end of the 7th lap, and I can't tell you how happy I was to get that white flag. I was saying on camera, well, I thought I was saying on camera because it was dead, but the best part about going through the whoops the last lap was the fact that I knew that I wasn't going to see them again. Because yeah, this track beat me up today, but it was still a good race. I was kind of wish that I had finished better than 8th, but you know, to be perfectly honest, I don't know how much more I could have done when we came around, or I was checking out the time behind next place. I was 36 seconds behind 7th place, and then I think, let me see here. No, I don't have it. I want to say, yeah, there was only about 8.5 minutes between me and first place, so, you know, for my performance, that's pretty good. It was pretty warm today. I'm not sure how warm it got. It definitely seemed like it was warmer than it was supposed to be. By the time I woke up at 7 a.m., it was up to about 68 degrees outside, and yeah, I would say it was probably in the mid 80s. Now, when it started getting more overcast, those whoops right there started getting really, really bad by the end of the race. But yeah, when it started getting overcast during the race, you know, that helped a lot. But leading up right to the race, it was pretty sunny, and boy, when that sun came out, it was hot. So next weekend is, well, in a few days now, is the Valley Trail Riders Hare Scramble up in Bentley. And I will be getting the 2-stroke out for the first time this year for that race. Historically,
Go, 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 go!
Mark Becker makes that race just as tight as he possibly can. And yeah, the 2-stroke will definitely be beneficial there. I was a little concerned with this track. You know, like I said, it ended up being a really good flowing track, you know, without It's not super tight, so there was a lot of places to get out of the way for the fast guys. You know, I knew, being that it was only a 5.5 mile track, that the fast guys would be coming through a few times. So luckily the track was wide enough in almost every place that you could just move over and let them go by. But yeah, Valley coming up, that's going to be a tight track, so we'll get the 2-stroke out for that. You know, I've been riding really well this year on this 4-stroke, so it'll be interesting to see how I do with the 2-stroke compared to the 4-stroke. You know, see if it's possibly the bike, or if I'm just getting better. Hopefully I'm just getting better because, you know, when I was out at the Mines ride, I did not have any complaints with the 2-stroke or the 4-stroke. Suspension wise and how they handled, I thought that they were pretty identical. So, you know, hopefully my results don't don't prove that I belong on one bike versus the other. He is in my class. I'm not sure who that is. That's the one thing that I'm not really liking about the new labeling system. You know, it's nice having our row numbers on the back of our helmets so that we know that they're competition or not. But what I don't like is, without numbers on the sides of your bike, I have no idea who they are, you know, after the race, to see, you know, who was who. I can't read the number on the side of your helmet unless I pass you on your left, and then potentially I might be able to see it, but let's be honest, I'm not staring at people when I'm going by them. I'm just, you know, as soon as I see an opening, you make your move. So that's definitely my only real complaint about the new number system. I don't know if there's a way to fix that or not. You know, there's no system's perfect, and there's always going to be complaints. But yeah, I wish that I knew who some of these people are, because there's definitely people out here that are in our class that I've never seen before, and you know, especially when you're racing with them, it's nice to know who they are, at least. Don't necessarily have to become clansmen with them or anything, but you know, it's at least nice to know somebody's name, even if you don't recognize them without their helmet on. So this is the swamp pit where I stalled the bike in the bloopers reel, if you will. That spot there started getting pretty nasty too. I ended up on that one towards the end of the race having to go way out to the right around the pine tree there, or shrub, whatever it was. I didn't realize it while I was riding, but our whole group, at this point, I'm in 9th position right now because I had gotten around Dougie, and I didn't realize it at the time, but when I was watching this footage back, the whole train of our group is right here. So after that crash on the first lap, you know, I had caught up to the pack of everybody. We're just a little bit spread out, but once we get into some tighter stuff, you know, you'll see a big bunch up of us, and I can tell by seeing people's bikes and their riding gear that, you know, the majority of the people there are all, you know, our main core group. So, yeah, when when I was able to get into some open areas, we could go pretty fast on this track. The bad thing is that as we started getting more and more spaced out during the race, you know, your energy drops and you're not able to, well, I am not able to ride as fast as I can the first few laps. But I'd still say that my stamina this year is a lot better. I'm definitely willing and able to ride faster, longer, harder, but yeah, it's I do think that a lot of that is helped by the fact that Deck and I rode all winter, as much as we could anyways. You know, once the snow really hit in late January, early February, it was really hard to ride after that until the snow started to melt. But we rode as much as we possibly could, and I think that really did help, even though it didn't keep the extra, you know, winter pounds off. It helped my fitness level at least. I was a little surprised that first the crash I had on that first lap. I've got my custom camera mount on my chin bar, and it's made out of PVC molding, like yeah, trim for your house, just plastic PVC. See, all the guys right in front of us there are all row 12 guys, so we've definitely caught up to them. Anyway, what I was saying, I must have taken enough of a hit right to the camera when I fell. I realized yesterday that the camera mount is actually broken, so I get to custom fabricate another one. Yay! This spot here, if you looked real close there, that was a wooden planked bridge, you know, like all the other bridges that are on this property. And so if you just took it easy on the throttle there and went up, or just went up it without spinning the tire, there was no issue there. But I saw so many people, you know, that would start at the top of that hill and just full throttle gas it down into the little ravine and then up, and they'd end up spinning on that board and the back end would fly out from under them. You know, it was like, geez, oh Pete, you're doing it wrong. I'm not normally one that can give advice, but you know, that's if you just let momentum carry you and just give it a little bit of gas, it's a whole lot easier to get up those little inclines. This spot here was cool. As the race went on, a whole lot more rocks started coming out there, and you know, It's as close to feeling like Graham Jarvis as I'm gonna get. So it is hard to tell because this is only the second lap, but watching the footage back, people say, well, why is it called Bent Wheels instead of just Rose City or whatever? And well, I mean, part of it is definitely like, you look around on the track, there's rocks everywhere here. It's crazy. I mean, towards the end of the race, there were like bowling ball sized boulders being ripped out of the ground and thrown into ruts in the track. It was pretty gnarly. There was definitely, once the whoop started getting really bad, I was like, oh man, as a big part of me had wished that I'd put a little bit more air in my tires because I was feeling like I was about to bend a wheel. But everything stayed together, stayed tight, stayed true, so it was all good. Just letting the fast guys through already. This spot here, going down to the left, was definitely the faster way to go, but that guy there on the Kawasaki seemed stuck there, so we had to go up in between the trees, which I ended up taking that line probably half the race just because that's the way it ended up flowing into it. But really that bottom outside sweeping line was much smoother and more consistent. That jump there, I went a little bit too fast there, but there was one lap I went over that and just completely forgot that the other mound was there and smashed right into the face of it. If you're going fast enough, and you can be, if you're going fast enough, you could double it, but definitely not something I was willing to do after spraining my ankle on the last race. So we're to the end now. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like and subscribe, and we will see you at the next one. See ya.